Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, or hello if you're new here. It's been a little while since I posted a video. Well, how to put this? February and March so far were a bit intense and I had to take a bit of a break from the YouTube just to kind of survive, just to get through the basics of day-to-day life. In February, I was a bit depressed. And then I felt better and immediately got the flu. And then I felt better and immediately got a migraine because, fun fact, my body does this thing where whenever I recover from like a cold or the flu, I get a migraine immediately. It's so weird. I don't know why it happens and it's not fair because haven't I suffered enough, body? You know, do I really need a migraine on top of what I've just been through? Anyway, yeah, that happened. And then when I was feeling better, work got really busy, and it still is, but I decided today was the day, gonna get back into filming. I really love making videos. I find it such an enriching thing that just makes me so full of joy. And after the month and a bit I've just had, I need some joy. So I'm back. I'm here today to talk about backfilling because due to February being just awful, to be honest, I didn't keep up with my journal. You can see from the very start here, actually, on my February the 1st page, it was the 5th, which isn't too bad, 4 days. And then we skip ahead and suddenly on the 2nd, we get to the 11th. And it just got worse from there, to be honest. Yeah, basically, when you have a dated book like The Cousin, I at least feel a lot of pressure to backfill the pages and make sure every day has something. For a lot of February, I couldn't really fill that with journaling because I was either passed out with the flu or didn't really want to write about the fact that I was just sad. And it got to, where did it get to? I think, I've covered up the date. That was helpful. Why did I do that? The 4th. Wow. Okay. Yeah. At this point, I think technically this is the 4th of February page, but I think I got here at about the 20th or something. Okay, the 19th is the journal there. Yeah, so I got very far into the month with a lot of blank pages and I was intimidated. I had no idea what to do with all of that blank paper. So I put a little channel post up and I asked all of you wonderful people for ideas for how to backfill. And I got some great ones and I thought today I would go through them. And what I did was I kind of synthesized everyone's recommendations, which is, wow, that was a corporate way of putting it. Ugh. You can tell I overworked this week. Anyway, yeah, I basically made a list of the general themes of suggestions that I got. And yeah, I thought I'd go through them and if relevant, show you examples of how I implemented the recommendations. The first one though, leaving it blank. I'm going to be honest, I can't do it. I just can't do it. People who can leave dated books blank, please tell me how. Tell me your secrets, because the whole problem here was that I feel like I can't leave pages blank. My brain, it just won't let me do it. I don't know why. I'm allergic to empty space. I've said this before, but apparently that extends to also being allergic to empty pages. And it adds a lot of pressure, which is how we got in this mess in the first place. And if I'm honest, I'm thinking that after I finish this book, I'll probably move away from dated books for this reason, but that is for another video, next week's video. Anyway, the point is, a lot of people said, just don't backfill. Sometimes writing nothing speaks volumes, as one commenter said, or two actually. And I agree with that. A blank page can say a lot, and I wish I was able to do that. I wish I was able to let this empty space speak for itself, but I just can't. I try and then my brain's no, you have to go back and put something there, anything, even if it's pointless. And yeah, it's frustrating. So I guess the point here is I wasn't able to implement that suggestion, but I think it's a very good one. And if anyone has any mindsets they can share that help them with leaving things empty, please do in the comments. I don't really know if that's a helpful thing to ask because I don't know why I feel I have to fill them. So it's hard for people to give advice on how not to do that. But anyway, who knows, somebody might have some wisdom. So yeah, that's the first point. Nothing for me to show because I was simply not able to do that. The second one is carrying on as normal. Murderbook Murderface, who every time I see you comment, by the way, I just love your account name. It makes me happy. Anyway, they suggested just carrying on as usual, commonplacing and daily journaling. And I did try to do that as much as I could in February. I mean, you can see there are some pages in all of this backfilling where I did manage to journal. Not many, but some. And what I tend to do a lot of the time, if like there's a lot going on and I don't have time for like a full page every day, is I'll do a recap, like a little weekly journal recap of like the main events. And I did that here. I think I did it later on as well. So yeah, I really did try to carry on as normal as much as I could. And when it came to backfilling, I did lean into normality for some of it. Like I basically wrote daily entries that were a lot longer than I perhaps would have in the past. Just really recording even the minute details of what happened that day just to fill the space. So we've got one here. There are some more here. Like these are all maybe like the space of 4 days. Yeah. And I just really went for it and wrote as much as I could remember about those days to fill the space. So if you're able to just basically backfill what happened on that day as and when you can, that is an option. Moving on to the next idea though, lists of journal prompts, which my good friend Danny recommended. And I did actually intend to do this and then completely forgot. I think having like a list of things to journal about just as a page in your journal somewhere is a good idea for those days when, I don't know if anybody else has this, but some days I really want to write, but I don't know what to write, if that makes sense. Like I just have the urge to put pen to paper. Like I think the actual physical act of writing is just very soothing for me, but I might not know what to write about. So having a collection of prompts can be very helpful for that. And I know Helen from the Coffee Monsters Co., who is like journaling goals, does a daily prompt every day and like has a page of them at the very start of the month. And I am debating doing something similar, perhaps not like one for every day, because there are some days where I do know what I want to write about. But for those when I don't, it could be interesting. And it could also just be interesting to prompt the kind of reflection that I might not normally do. Because yeah, I guess prompts can prompt you. Great wording there from me, very imaginative. They can prompt you to think about things that you wouldn't otherwise. So I really do like this idea, even though I didn't end up doing it in this backfilling. I think it's a good idea. And I think you can also really cater it to your needs. Like you could have just like journal prompts that are reflections about you or like what you think about certain things. But say if you are interested in fiction writing, you could have a list of just like daily flash fiction prompts to encourage you to do a little bit of writing every day. And there are like themed prompts. If you are someone who loves music, I'm sure there are lists out there of like journal prompts about music that you could include in your journal. I find that Tumblr is a very good place for that. Tumblr has quite a few long posts that I've seen that are just like lists of prompts. Okay, I'm going to stop saying the word prompt because I've said it so many times that it doesn't feel real anymore, and move on to the next idea, which is extra journaling, which I kind of touched on as something that I'd done. Journaling longer passages from around that time when you can, especially if you're feeling emotional, which, yeah, that's usually a very good motivator to do a lot of writing. And when I did start doing this to fill the pages, I kind of realised that I was really enjoying it. And this is another reason why I'm thinking of moving away from like a dated book in the future, is sometimes I really do just love writing and writing and writing. And it would be nice to not feel limited by like a dated system. And I know that in the Cousin, I don't always like stick to the date at the top of the page. I mean, obviously I haven't here. There's a 12-day gap. But when you have a dated book, obviously you're limited to 365 pages for the year, one per day. And there's a part of me that thinks that if I really let myself write as much as I wanted to, I would use up those 365 pages for like, I don't know, the first 6 months of the year. The thing with dated books for me is, while I don't feel pressured to write on that day, I do feel pressured to limit myself so that I only take up 365 pages a year. and I don't know if that works for me. Again, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to talk a lot about this in next week's video. But yeah, it was just something that came to mind as I was thinking about this extra journaling that I did. It really felt good and it's something I want to keep doing, and I will. So thank you for that backfilling recommendation. It's actually kind of changed the way I journal for the better, I think. And I'm always for kind of amending my journal system as I realise what suits me and what I need. I mean, if you've been watching this channel since the start, you'll have seen that because I've changed what I do with various pages so many times because I do like to change things based on my needs. Like, I don't want to feel like I have to stick with something if it's not working for me just because it's what I said I would do with the book. So, wow, this is turning out to be rambly. I'm going to move on to the next point before I talk about something else slightly irrelevant. And that is notes and planning. And there were a few different suggestions for what this might look like. We've got taking notes on videos and articles, I guess what you'd call commonplacing, or just taking notes on life, things that will be relevant to you in the weeks to come, writing down recipes you've tried out. And then on the planning side of things, like planning out projects if you're at school or if you do project-based work, making lists of stuff you need to do, just generally trying to keep your life on track in these pages. As a habitual planner and commonplacer, this appealed to me as just like a general concept. Again, if you've been here a while, you know I love to take notes, particularly on like quotes that I find on Tumblr. I'm sure at some point I'll take notes on books, but I'm still in a bit of a reading slump, so yeah. Anyway, here's a quotes page that I backfilled, and I don't know what happened with this letter R. I really struggle with writing the letter R in like calligraphy script. It confuses me every single time, to be honest. And I think when people do it right, it looks really good. So I want to do it right. But this just looked like it said mole. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I mean, I do. I kind of did the right way of doing an R there. But I don't know why I just can't grasp that one letter of the alphabet in calligraphy. It's always been the case. I've been doing like hand lettering and calligraphy since 2017. How many years is that? Too many for me to not spiral if I name the number. Anyway, yeah, after all these years, still, the letter R does my absolute head in. Anyway, the point is I did take some notes on some quotes, and here as well, another little quotes interlude. I don't know if I took many other notes. Let me see. I did, but in like a themed way that I'm going to talk about later. Oh, there's another quotes page there. Here I guess this is note-taking in a sense of kind of note-taking on what I wanted my routine to look like going forward. And I guess this also aligns with the planning part of this. I basically sat down and had a plan for what I want my routine to look like going forward and basically how I need to treat myself better as an autistic person especially. I think I'd been slipping into some bad habits again of not prioritizing rest and special interests and just like all the stuff I need to prioritize to be healthy and not spiral. So yeah, I took some notes on what I thought the problems were with my current routine and how I wanted to solve that. And I'm not gonna lie, because work has been so busy, I've kind of not implemented this too much of yet, but I do plan to. And I think the fact that work got so busy this past week and I worked so many hours compared to what I'm supposed to work shows that I do actually need this routine reset. Like, I need to rebalance work and life and get into better habits again because I've been so tired this weekend after everything I did last week. So yeah, took some notes on that. What else? Visual stuff. So there were a few different like mixed media suggestions, I guess. Doodling, which I've never been one for doing because I've convinced myself that I'm bad at it. And that now makes me want to try it to see if I can prove myself wrong. What I have done is take a look through my phone and printed out pictures. I think I probably showed this a little bit earlier when I was talking about journaling, but for one of the like one weekends in February when I did things and had fun, I did print out some photos of me and my partner and our friends Ruby and Luke. We went for a really nice meal. I took this photo and I was like, gotta commemorate that. And then the day after that, I was in town for a nail appointment for these like nice purpley nails. And I took this photo of the river in Durham, which This spot, I'm pretty sure I must have taken a photo of like 100 times in my life because it's so pretty. You can't really tell because the printing quality wasn't great. I'm just realizing now there's some lines in it, which is interesting. Anyway, there's a really nice bridge like in the distance there that you can't really see that is like my favorite bridge in Durham. And again, you can't quite see, but poking out there is the cathedral. And then there's lots of trees. And I just really liked how the sunset was reflecting on the river. So took a photo, printed it out, and it took up a lot of space, which was very nice. I printed these pictures bigger than I normally would, just so that they would fill up more space, which, you know, you've got to do what you've got to do, you know? And I'm glad I did because I think it looks really nice. But other kind of visual suggestions are swatching washi tapes. That can be a fun thing to do. I kind of put one here in, you know, honour of that. It's not really swatching, but I just really like this washi tape. It's the one that my friends Alexander and Autumn bought me, and special place in my heart. Moving on to the last kind of group of suggestions though, and this is one that I very much leaned into, and that is writing about media. And that could be video games, books, music, films, YouTube videos, anything you consume. And there were a few different suggestions here, like writing about shows, writing book reviews, writing down lyrics that fit your mood, and making album pages. I loved this idea of just like printing out the album cover and writing about the album. I didn't end up doing that in the backfilling, but I'm actually going to do that today with the new Bleachers album, which I am very much enjoying. But to talk about what I did with the backfilling with this, I basically decided, you know what, I'm going to spend 6 pages writing out Taylor Swift bridges. And I'll show you, there are many. Here's where it starts. So if you're not a Taylor Swift fan, you might not know, she is famous for doing just like incredible bridges in her songs. And I realised that a lot of my favourite songs are my favourite songs because of the bridge. And I was like, you know what? To fill some space, I'm going to commemorate that. I'm going to write out my favourite bridges. And this was the first page of it. It ended up kind of showing me that a lot of my favourite bridges are incredibly heart-wrenching and miserable. So we've got All Too Well, obviously, very sad. You're Losing Me, which is just knife to the heart levels of sad. You're On Your Own, Kid, kind of ends with a positive, but is also just about like a lot of bad things that happen to her. And Mirrorball, I don't think in itself is like as tragic, but I think it's got some melancholy about it, you know? So yeah, this first page was some sad old bridges. I printed out the album covers for each one, thought that looked cool. And then on the second page of this, I did try to make an effort to find some happy ones. So like Sweet Nothing, I think is quite sweet. Obviously, it's in the title. I suppose that is also a bit melancholy though, because it's her admitting that she's too soft for fame and fortune. But it sounds happier, right? I guess. And New Year's Day, oh my God, I was about to point to this as another happy one, but I've just realised it's not, because it's her hoping that her lover does not become a stranger. And it turns out he did. So, oh no. Yeah, I tried to be happier and it failed miserably. Cool. The others are just like obviously sad, like Champagne Problems, obviously sad. Out of the Woods, I guess not sad, but it kind of is about anxiety and like the anxiety you can feel in a insecure relationship. So not exactly, you know, the cheeriest of topics. And Would've, Could've, Should've, just again, knife to the heart. Oh, that one gets me every time. And I've had it in my head these past few days. Also, fun fact, what I think is the best part of this bridge isn't actually a bridge according to Genius, it's a new verse. But I decided to ignore that and write it in anyway, because it's the most heart-wrenching part, and I just, yeah. Anyway, maybe the last page has... Okay, yeah, Cruel Summer is happier, you know? Ends nicely. Turns out her love is reciprocated. Also, it turns out this was 5 pages, not 6. I can't count. Anyway, yeah, that's that. I spent a lot of time copying out lyrics, basically, because... why not? I love these bridges. I love Taylor Swift's music, and because there are so many good songs, I could fill so many pages with these bridges, and I did. I also wrote a list of honourable mentions because I think at this point, I kind of got a bit sick of it. I was like, I've been sitting here writing out lyrics for so long, I'm going to stop here. But there were a few where I was like, I do at least have to acknowledge somewhere that they are excellent bridges. So yeah, ended with a little list there. In terms of other like media themed backfilling that I did, there's a lot of Taylor Swift, I'm not going to lie. Mostly because the media I've been consuming the most lately is music. Especially in difficult times, I really lean into music as like something to regulate me. So yeah, I've been listening to a lot of music, and necessarily for me, that means a lot of Taylor Swift, especially because the Eras tour has been ongoing again. And I've been watching like the live streams of that. So I kind of wrote about the Australia leg because she started doing these mashups as surprise songs, and oh, honestly, they're incredible. I am now super excited for my shows. I mean, as if I wasn't already. I'm going to the Eras tour next year. No, this year. Yeah, it's like 3 months away. Oh my god. How has that come around so quickly? Wow. Anyway, I'm going, and now, because she's doing these mashups, you basically get like 4 surprise songs instead of 2. Sometimes 5. So yeah, wrote about that. And also, nearer the start of the month, wrote about the Tortured Poets Department, the new album announcement to do with that, which I'm so excited for. It's going to be so sad. It's going to be such a sad album, and I'm here for it. So yeah, a lot of writing about music. Not so much writing about anything else, because I'm in a reading slump-ish. I'm reading, oh god, which one? A Court of Wings and Ruin still, and I am enjoying it, but I find that when I'm tired, I don't want to read because I feel like I'm not going to appreciate the book properly, which is possibly stupid, but it's how I feel. And I've been tired a lot lately, which means I haven't been reading. But I do want to get back into that, I think. Starting tonight, I'm going to carve out some time every night to read even just a chapter, you know, like just something, because I do enjoy it. And I've bought so many books on Kindle for 99p in the sale, and I need to read them. So hopefully in future flip throughs, there will be more book related pages. And other than that, I haven't really been playing video games because I'm just not feeling it right now. I think I'm starting to get the Tears of the Kingdom itch again. I still need to finish it. So I think I probably will start that again soon. But right now, I'm mostly just listening to music and watching YouTube, because I'm also not really a big like film person. I find it very difficult to sit and watch a film for like 2 hours. It's odd because I can watch like multiple episodes of a show for 2 hours, but something about it being a film, I have this like mental barrier. I don't know. Anyway, that is my full list of backfilling ideas that I crowdsourced from all of you. Thank you to everyone who replied to that post with the ideas. I think I've represented everyone here in this page. I've left little markers of who said what. And I am happy to say that I have now backfilled the entirety of February. I don't think I finished that until yesterday, and it is currently the 11th of March? Or is it the 12th today? Let me look. Watch, tell me what day it is. Why won't you tell me what day it is? Ah, it's the 10th. There we go. Yeah, it took me until the 9th of March to finish because I pretty much filled everything with like this really long journal entry after this, and then was going to do my February review and then just never got around to actually copying it out because I put it on Discord and then just never put it in here until yesterday. So yeah, February is now all backfilled, and I am actually up to date in March, although that is partially because we had another victim of my inability to keep beverages in mugs. We skipped from the 4th to the 9th here because I spilled tea, and I managed to like pick the book up and hold it like upside down in time for it to not leak through too much, but it did leak through like 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and it was a bit unrecoverable. So I just removed those pages. Why not? And I have also just exposed myself. I am behind in journaling, as it turns out. I'm doing another weekly recap page, and I stopped on Thursday apparently, so I know what I'm doing tonight, filling that out. Anyway, I'm going to leave this video here. I hope if you are in a dated book and need to backfill, this has given you some ideas. I will be back next week, touch wood. Like, at this point, who knows what could happen in my life? Like 2024 so far has been so weird that I don't know, but I am hoping to be back next week. I'm hoping to get back into the weekly rhythm because this is like one of the most fun parts of my week, and I think during all the tough times in February, it was made more tough by the fact that I wasn't doing this. Like, I wasn't engaging in one of my favourite hobbies. And in my defence, like, I did have the flu for like a big chunk of it and couldn't talk. But yeah, anyway, I would love to keep on doing this weekly when I can. There, I think that's a realistic way of putting it. Anyway, yeah, I will hopefully be back next week with an explanation of where I am with the cousin and how I'm using it, and some of the frictions that have been happening in my brain to do with having a dated book, I guess, and not knowing what to do with certain spreads. I think I've hit on something that works, but I don't want to talk about it quite yet in case it doesn't. So I'll be back with that video soon. I hope you're all doing well and had better Februarys and early Marches than I did. And I'll see you all in the next video.